Hi everyone, I'm Holly. I am the maker and doer of all the things here at Missouri River Soap, and welcome to the newest Pack and Chat. I'm packing orders from our last release. I've been packing orders all week, and the Pack and Chat ones are typically at the very end, so it's Friday. I'm about done packing orders and looking forward to the weekend, but I'm very excited to pack these up for you today. Now this first one is going to Nicole in Michigan, and this is Nicole's very first order, so thank you very much, and thank you for your lovely notes. And I'm going to use an 864. I already had one put together. And then I have this lovely new paper. Thought it felt very springy. It's a little small, but it's gonna work. And it's just, I was ready for spring. We were having springy weather. Even as of last night, our snow was melted, but it really snowed overnight, and I absolutely love the snow. My dog and I are just happy as could be today. So I'm going to put in a juicy and a rosemary mint. We have an unscented tallow and a bright bergamot from the last release. We have 2 salt soaps, so Moss and Fern and Pink Grapefruit. We'll just stack those together like so. And then we have a black cherry. So I've done a lot of cherries recently. Speak up. Tell me what you think. What are your favorites? Some people should be getting their orders already today, if not yesterday. So yesterday was a weird day. We had another windstorm came through, so we've busted out a couple of trees again. I'm going to put in a figgy cream, because if this is your first order, then I want you to at least sniff the figgy cream. So in goes figgy cream. So yeah, we had one tree laid over. Most of them just fall over with their roots. And then when we left to go to town later in the day to take packages, we had another snapped one up at the gate. And I had shared a story with our last windstorm in December that also snapped one up there. So gonna have to get my husband a chainsaw. We had one, but the dumb thing decided to fail now that we live in the mountains. So chainsaws are quite expensive now compared to when we bought that very nice chainsaw that was barely used. Some of the snow fell off the roof on the other side. It can be very noisy. Anyway, so it didn't get used a whole lot in Missouri, and then some air filter thing like ruined the whole deal. So that's fun. And now they're like so much more expensive, but we're gonna have to do that. We got a lot of trees to clear up here, especially if we're gonna have wind now. I do hope that you enjoy your first order, Nicole. So this next order is going to Gina in Arizona. Thank you so very much for your order, Gina. And I just had to go grab some more of these cards. Now, I had a lot of these cards. Why did I buy like 1,000 of them? I have no idea. I bought them sometime last year. But I did run out of business cards, of which I thought I had, but I suspect they're hiding around here somewhere. I just don't know where I safely stored them. So for now, we're using up these cards. I feel like my logo is massive based on the card, but whatever, it's fine. You have a hard time reading small print, you just aren't going to have to worry about that with this situation, which is me. Sometimes, because I'm always like, but not this. Boy, I can really see this well. So I need to write my card still to Gina. And I have these new pens. I must say I love them. So nice. They're so colorful. I have like a whole bunch of different colors, and they bring joy to my life. So I feel like gotta loosen that up a little bit. I usually have very good cursive, and so it's weird when I don't. It's weird today. Anywho's it. So let's see, we have, I didn't even grab my box. So I have a couple of samplers, wax, scrub, body butter, soap. I think I have a 1075 set up already. I'm gonna go grab it. All right, so we've got our 1075 here. I'm not going to put a paper in because it won't fit. So we'll put it on at the top. So we have the March soap sampler, and I have wrapped it in paper this time, and I just really love this. I debated just doing some craft or some white, and I'm like, you know, the paper this month is beautiful, so let's just do that. Now, the other thing I was going to mention with the samplers this month was that I did reduce their size just a little bit. So before I cut them at 3/4 of an inch. This time I cut them between 1/2 and 3/4. Not 1/2 because that's getting too small for me to work with, but to, you know, bevel and plane and look really nice. And also, when you cut a soap bar a little bit thin, it can like arch and distort when it is in the curing process. And that's why I like those for my samples. So for the sampler though, they need to be big enough that they don't get too wonky. So that's what I've done. So into this one, we have, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going backwards. Black cherry, confetti blossom, green clover and aloe, mountain lilac, juicy, and rosemary mint. So we're gonna tuck those in like so. So go like that. You can probably see a little bit better. Now I'm so excited that you got this one, Gina. This is the new Peppermint Pumice Whipped Soap Scrub. It's still made with sugar, but it has a little bit of pumice in it. I am so in love. So I love making scrubs. I would say my top favorite scrub ever is the coffee scrub, which I'll be making some more coffee scrub here soon. But the coffee scrub is my favorite. This is my second. Like it's trying to inch over into coffee zone, but I just love coffee too much. So this peppermint pumice, and it is made with peppermint essential oil, and it is just fresh and joyful. I adore this. Like, I have to tell myself, you don't need to scrub this time in the shower. You don't get to scrub every single night. You have to value this and enjoy it slowly and in appropriate time frames. So I'm so excited about that one, and I just can't get over it. I love it so much. All right, so we're going to put in a bright bergamot. I think that is the last one of those, and a mountain lilac soap. Now let me tell you what. The mountain lilac soap turned out a little darker than anticipated, and one of my good customers was like, let me guess, it's huckleberry. And I'm like, it would have been a perfect huckleberry, but no, it was lilac. And so I was thinking about those super dark purple lilacs. They have just a hint of pink, and you know, like they go a hint of blue. I just adore them. They are my favorite lilacs. Montana, up here especially, we have epic lilacs, and those are my favorites over the super pale. I'll take a pale purple lilac, but I love the dark ones. And so that's what I was doing, and my colors that I blended worked really, really well. So I'll try to remember that for my huckleberry. We may have to switch over a little bit. I'm gonna put some shred down in these parts, and then we're gonna put in the wax. We have a couple of super cute wax belts. These are the green clover and aloe. Aren't they adorable? Now you're gonna have to ignore my round labels. My printer and I, we went round and round and round and round and round, and I was like, it should not give you this much. I was like, calm down, it's just a label. But it took me 2 hours to do this label. And it's an Adobe Illustrator. And so I would like print the template that I've downloaded, like its little black frame. I would print that, with it, knowing I'd ruin a sheet of labels, but just to see where it was lining up. Almost perfect. So then what I would do is I'd go back into Illustrator, hide that so that it wasn't printing on the actual label, and save it, and I go back and print it, and it'd be completely different. Completely shifted, everything had moved. Go back and put it back, just show it again. I'm not moving anything. I'm not doing anything. And that's what it's doing to me. And then, if you get it just right, you finally, oh man, you've dialed it in. You've dialed it perfect. You finally have your labels where it wants to be. The printer pulls it funny. This is Minty Eucalyptus. So, the round labels are a bit weird. And I put them on the same general thing, and some are like over and down, and I just don't even know anymore. I don't know anymore. I panic printed a bunch of labels because I've been kind of packaging things as I go. I run out of time. My son turned 21 last Sunday. What is that all about? And that's not even my oldest son. That was my middle one, turned 21. And I'm like, what? The whole day, I was just like, what? What is even happening? Anyway, so I played on Sunday and didn't work. And so that did put me a little bit behind. We're putting in 2 green clover and aloe sea salt soaps. Now, these are in the shape of the most adorable little clover. So you can go over to my website, moriversoap.com. So you can go over to my website, moriversoap.com, and take a gander at the pictures and maybe place an order while you're there if you feel like it. All right, so I think that looks good. Look at all that green clover and aloe goodness. I'd kind of hoped that things would... I knew I had to make space for something else. I felt it. I knew it. Were you yelling at me? Because I feel like you probably were. All right, let's do... All right. What am I doing? So this one is the body butter. And this is Moonlit Serenity. And this is the scent that I talked about in my Hive and Honey video, Evening Unwind. I was obsessed then. I am still obsessed now. I have a massive jar of this next to my bed, and it is one of my greatest delights is just before bed to slather myself with this scent. And then for a long while, rub it on my sheets a little bit, and so then when I get into the bed next time, it smells amazing then too. Obsessed. So I bought a little roll of this stretchy paper. It is not the same as what I would buy from, say, Paper Mart or Eco Enclosed, etc. So these are in glass jars, so I'm going to give them extra protection. They're very solid. They are not a weak jar by any means, but we're going to give them the extra protection that they need. Ah yes, this, oh man, here's hoping. Alright, that does not need anything there. So we're going to put the 2, should I put one? Okay, let's put one there and one there of the back with the salt soaps. And then we still have plenty of room around to put all of these. So clover's there. Let's do, that's fine. Since these are discs, I kind of like just setting them down below the shaped ones. That does not work there. Okie dokie then. I guess we'll just put these over on top of the soap because that's fine. They're very lightweight. It's not a problem. All right, so that's what we're going to do in this box. So then I'm going to tuck in a Moonlit Serenity wax melts. There's a couple of them in there. Since so few of my wax melts sold with this release, I have been sending them out as samples. Alright, so now this one, oh, we have to do the paper. Boy, it is really starting to melt fast. It's dripping down my windows, and please don't melt. Please don't melt. Oh, that's the problem. So I thought when we moved to Montana, especially up here in the mountains where it said we got 80 inches of snow, I thought I was in the free and clear. I would not have snow anxiety again in my life. And I have had more snow anxiety the last 2 winters, and this winter has been the worst. And I don't like snow anxiety. I love snow. Wow, that fit perfectly. That's great. I love snow. I want it to be snowy all winter long, and it should be. So my dog literally has an allergy to melting snow, and he has had the worst winter. Normally we do it one time in the spring, and this time it's just been like over and over and over and over again. And so he really struggles, and you should have seen his excitement when it was snowy the other morning. And I'm sure it was this morning too, but they had to go out in the dark this morning. But he was so happy, jumping, running, wild. He is a ferocious beast when it is snowy. He is amazing. So this order is going to Allison in Nevada. Thank you so much for your order, Allison. And we are putting in a lavender milk bath, bubbling bath salts. I just feel like this is one of those just fun ones to have around. Instead of just having a bunch of different scents, I kind of like just having, you know, this is just lavender and it has some Epsom salts in it, and it's just so good. And then like this peppermint pumice is just kind of like a category all of its own. So we're putting in the peppermint pumice. We're going to put in the Moonlit Serenity. So look, this is the little baby roll. Isn't it so cute? I mean, it gets the job done because I don't really like that inner white paper or outer white paper, whatever it is, that comes in that big roll. And I just don't really have a place to store a big roll, so I went with this on Amazon, but it is definitely thinner and different. We were talking with our new barista gal the other day, and she was asking what my husband does and all that, and he says he works remote, and he was like so thankful for it because it allowed us to move up here and be in the mountains, and that just was everything for us. And she hates it here. She's from Vegas and she does not like it here in Montana. And it was kind of like, you know what? That's true. Not everybody loves this place like we do. Like, we feel so blessed to finally be here. We talked about it for so many years. And we finally just said, you know what? We're doing it. And it has definitely gone much different than anticipated. So much different. So much different. But there has been so much beauty here the whole time. I love it here so much. We're going to put in a black cherry soap. And I'm noodling around all the things because she's highly interconnected with all the other girls that are there, baristas and stuff. But so I'm noodling around some of that information that we received. But anyway, I hope she gets to go. So the question is, Allison, do you like living there? Is that like where your heart desires to be? We're going to put in a strawberries and champagne bath bomb. I think this is my last bath bomb headed out. I did not have time to make the bath bombs. I was hoping to get to it, but I just did not. I have been doing taxes. editing videos, doing taxes, making things, but not making all of the things. All right, I need to figure out a sample. I'm gonna tuck in a Mountain Lilac soap sample. Oh, that one just died. I wondered, since I did a little extra filming at the beginning, there must just be a setting off on that other one that it wears out so quickly. And then this one is off to Nevada. All right, so this order is going to Vanessa in California. Thank you so much for your order, Vanessa. And we actually have 2 orders going together here. We have quite a lot. So I have an 1186 here. I think it's going to be appropriate. So I have my paper, and then again, we won't put the tissue in until the end. We are putting in a February soap sampler. Now you can see that these bars, even though, I mean, they're definitely smaller. See how you can see they are smaller, but they're still chunky, getting very close to being a full-sized soap. So that is why I switched. So these both have 6 bars. So you can see it's almost like the difference of a bar in there. So we have the February sampler, more like into January, but it was February design. I had to change its name because it wasn't the only soap sampler on the site. And then we're going to put in the March, and I think I made a cute label too. Isn't that cute? I love it. And the design actually is very similar to it, but completely different scenario from where and how the tissue paper. So we're putting in a couple of room sprays. So I feel like I'm so close. Couple of room sprays. So we have Citrus Blast and Moonlit Serenity. And so I always have a little bit that I have to do in preparation to ship these. I always use a glove, which look how old this glove is. I haven't had gray gloves in forever. Tighten those up. I'm going to wrap them with an absorbent paper. I thought I made myself. Oh, I did. No, I did not. I made myself a Moonlit Serenity, and then someone else bought it before I grabbed it. I see how it goes. I love it. I don't have to make another one, but I will make myself one here soon. So then I put them in a little bag, which I don't love these bags. I'm going to have to make a Paper Mart order. I have been getting by with stuff from Amazon, but I prefer my Paper Mart stuff. So I'm going to do that one. And then the Citrus Blast is like a Volcano Capri type. Very nice. It's kind of my fun fragrance citrus version since I have Juicy. But it's essential oil soap, and so one, I'm not going to use the essential oils in a spray because that would just be costly. But also, some of the essential oils are photosensitizers, so I don't want to make that in a body butter or something that's just going to sit on your skin. That's not a wash-off product either. I did not do what I was supposed to do. I was yammering and I forgot. I finally got brave enough to set my clock out here just a moment ago. It is 11:59 in the a.m. Yesterday because of the wind, and if this is a repeat, I'm sorry, because I have filmed some sections a couple of different times already. So we lost a couple of trees. And I've probably said this already, but if not, very quickly, a couple of trees we lost. Anyway, we lost the power, and we waited it out. We figured it was a long haul scenario. So we waited 30-ish minutes, and we're like, okay, let's power it up because we need the well pump powered up so we can use water. And then just, of course, we need the refrigerators going, etc. So he does all of that. We have one generator that runs that stuff. We're not in our full finished scenario with a generator. And then he has a generator that runs the well pump and the shed. That's why I call my workshop is the shed, because it's the shed design. And so he got this place fired up. But the problem is these lights are LEDs and they flicker. Oh my goodness, they flicker so bad if the power isn't like perfection. So I have this cute little lamp here, which I turned off because it was reflecting. But I had such a nice day. It was very cozy in here. It was very quiet. And then whoop, the power came back on. We're like, yay, this is wonderful. I set my clock and I started to watch TV and, you know, there went the power again. So we waited and waited and waited even longer this time. My husband's like, I don't even know if I want to go do the generators and stuff because it's a bit of a effort to get it all switched. And so he did that, and I'm not even sure he got back to the house. I'm like, the lights are on the house. He's like, yes. Power was back. So shut all of it back down again, came back out, and it'd been a little while, and I was like, okay, we're good here. We are good here. I'm going to put those sprays down in. I got to work while I talk. We thought we were good to go. And so like I said, I set my clock. I started watching television again, and we lost power. And so I just packed in the dark for a very long time. We said, we're not doing it this time. We're not switching over. We're having it. All right, so I think I'm going to put some soap over here, though. So we're going to put in some bars. We have Juicy and Rosemary Mint. We have, oh my goodness gracious. We'll see. I feel like whilst they fit very well over there, we're going to do something different. All right. So I'm going to put in a green clover and aloe and a confetti blossom soap. And then we also have a mountain lilac. So we're going to put that one in like so. Let's see. We've got some salt soaps. No, that does not fit. I need to have enough space. All right, we'll just put the salt soap. So we're putting in the green clover and aloe. We have 4 of those. And then, we have a black cherry soap. And then a moss and fern. Do I have some of those left? I think they're gone now. Okay, that fits great right there. Look at that. Slid right in there. Also, the sampler is much more compact without having a bunch of extra stuff. I think I'm gonna put the body butters in because they're pretty small. They should, yeah, they fit there. So we have a confetti blossom body butter and then the Moonlit Serenity. I had fun making those labels. Very pretty. You just kind of have to pull so that all those little pieces pop up. Let's add just a bit more to its bottom there. So it's kind of floating right in the middle. Okay? In the middle. I've been watching Superman and Lois. My daughter and I have been watching Teen Wolf, which that's a weird show, but enjoying. And the guy that plays Superman was also on Teen Wolf for a while at the beginning. And then I remembered that Lois on Superman is the actor, whatever is appropriate nowadays, on Grimm. And so I'm like, I'm gonna give that a try while I'm out here working, and I got addicted. I love it so much. So there you can see. I don't actually see it. These lights have a lot of reflection, and so the screen is pretty black most of the time, and if there's any nighttime scenes, I don't actually see it, so I don't watch Superman and Lois. I listen to it. Alright, let's put in the room sprays. Yeah, let's do it like that. Okay. Oh, we're good. Oh, we're so good. So now we're going to put in a black cherry and green clover and aloe wax melt. And then we have the mini diffuser in Figgy Cream. Alright, look at that. That looks great. I've got to go pick out some samples. I do not know what I'm going to do. I think there's a lot in here. I don't know if you like coconut. I hope you do, because the sun-washed coconut, these wax melts, look at them. Oh, I love them. I did put a lot of energy into wax melts towards the end. And then the wax melts were not the star of this release. And I wish I would have made bath bombs instead. And then I don't think there is a single soap I can send. I don't have anything else that's really different other than the wax melts. I need to, I don't have to send you all these samples. I mean, this is like $3.50 value as is, which I'm happy to do. It's what I want to do. I just always feel like so much pressure, like I have to send many things, and I know you guys don't feel that way, though I'm sure you do appreciate it. But I have been thinking that I should make something completely different for a release, and then I don't even have to really think about it a whole lot. I'll just tuck in the one different thing, and then it'd be for pretty much everybody. But I never know how many orders I'm going to have either, so. But I could have a selection, though. Like, not a selection, but I could have that different thing for the people that order one of everything. I could do that. I kind of planned on that with a bath bomb, but again, I ran out of time. That was not nice. Alright, so, yeah, this is what I've been doing. Isn't it cute, though? Isn't it cute, though? Oh, I'm going to need a little extra. At the end of this packing process, I do always have to go around and, like, clean up the floor, because I spill a lot of stuff on the floor. I did catch that I didn't put the packing slip and the card in Vanessa's order, so I did go back and I did do that. So this one is going to Mindy in Idaho. Thank you so much for your order, Mindy. And I have to wonder if you're getting any of the winter weather over there. I'm just thankful for the moisture. I love snow, but I would be thankful if it was rain. It's very exciting that the mountains are getting it, though. That the mountains need it, so it can trickle down. So we're going to put in a soap sampler. Love it. And I went with a 965. Did I say that? I think so, but I don't know. We're going to do a 965 here. And so we have a body oil. This is in the sun-washed coconut, which is amazing. Again, oh, I already did that one because it is sealed. I still am going to put them, wrap it in some paper. And it is also a glass bottle. but it also needs to have something absorbent with it. And then I just like to make sure that nothing else is getting messed with if it does happen to leak. So that's why I do the extra bag. So we're going to put in the little body oil. Can it stand up? Good, but not really. Like so. And then we have a green clover and aloe salt soap. I'll tuck you over here, I guess. And then I think some of these could go upright, although they're all designed. So let's just do that. Enough room for everybody, I do believe. Let's put in the lip balm. So we have a black cherry, and no matter what I tried to make this not be so pink, it just came out pink no matter what. And then we have a vanilla bean. And I do plan on having more scents. You love them, and I'm so excited about that. So I do plan to have more scents. I just have to... I went onto this one website that seems like it's going to be where I'm going to order from, and there were so many, and my cart was like $300, and I was like, nope, we can't do that. I'm one of those people that if I get overwhelmed, I do nothing. So I remember we went into, I think it was the At Home store in Springfield, Missouri, and I walked in and I was like, oh, this is glorious. And by the time I was like, oh yes, I like this, and I picked that up. I like this, I picked that up. And I then got a cart full, and I was like, nope, not doing it. I liked too many things, and it stressed me out. And so I had to go around and put them all back. And I bought nothing, which was very sad because I should have bought something. We're going to put in a couple of the green clover and aloe wax melts. We have 2 of the mountain lilac wax melts. Actually, these can fall in there, so make sure you're not losing track of your lip balms. Are you gonna fit? Yeah, I think it'll fit. I just need to bring it up a little bit so it's more of a level scenario across the board. So we have 2 of the confetti blossom wax melts as well. Aren't they so pretty? Love them. Yeah, that's fine. Just gotta sink it in right there, and it makes it weird. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. I'm going to tuck in some of the Moonlit Serenity. I hope you love it. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And I just realized I have to go print a new sheet. Since I always have such a mishmash of wax melts, I just handwrite the samples for those unless I have a whole bunch of them. Moonlit Serenity. So I have a fairly new HP printer, same one as I'd had before from Costco. It's a laser, and I have not had to replace the toner yet. They told me, and I bought like $500 worth of toner a couple of months ago, and I haven't needed to change it yet, and it got low, and now it's trying to tell me they're counterfeit. I'm like, what is this baloney? They're not either counterfeit. It's brand new from you, you weirdos. Okay, in with the Moonlit Serenity. Gorgeous, amazing paper. Boy, I didn't even put that in well. I'm going to tuck everybody in the corners. And then this one's off to Idaho. It's so funny because we have a box at the UPS store in Kalispell. And so that is the address that we use. That's our mailing address. And it's Idaho Street. And so every last thing I see, like even every time I print a label, Idaho, Idaho, Idaho. And it's just like, Montana. Alright, so this one does seem pretty long. Let's break this video up into 2 parts. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for part 2.